The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. Developing right now, the fallout, it continues from a DC council member arrested on bribery charges. We're talking about Trayon White. He is accused of accepting $156,000.
Yeah, and tonight, several groups gathering in a town hall meeting to discuss the future of Ward 8. Our reporter Mariel Carbone live outside the Arc in Southeast where that town hall was held.
And Mariel, that meeting did not go as expected. So what happened here?
Chris and Susan, no, it was not. It was, quite frankly, a little heated and tense outside of the meeting here. The meeting was not allowed inside, and that was a decision by the venue, but it led to some questions about transparency of what was going on inside. Meanwhile, multiple people walking out, questioning the entire intent behind tonight's town hall.
What has happened to the councilman is it's bad news.
Attorney Malik Shabazz with the Black Lawyers for Justice, the moderator of Monday's Ward 8 town hall meeting. The goal, unifying neighbors following the arrest of councilmember Trayon White.
There's a lot of trauma here. These are very serious allegations.
But that purpose facing scrutiny.
Let you go first.
Tell me what is the intent.
We're going to let you go first.
Regina Pixley is a longtime Ward 8 resident.
There's a lady in there from Cambridge, Maryland.
She questions the groups behind the town hall, including Shabazz, the Black Men's Movement, and more.
The residents of Ward 8 didn't call this. We decide our next steps after due process takes place.
She wasn't the only one who left upset.
I was in there and I don't know what they're talking about.
Kwasi Seitu, a former Ward 8 ANC commissioner, says he hoped the meeting would steer neighbors in a unified direction. With the November election and White on the ballot just months away.
We need a unified campaign, a unified write-in campaign.
Others calling on neighbors to stand by White, at least for now.
What I want to see is Ward 8 stick together and support our council member unless he go to trial and get convicted.
And the event, it was live streamed because media could not get inside. Chris and Susan, Attorney Shabazz says that there will be a press conference later this week, just following up on this to explain more about the discussions and the conclusions from tonight's town hall. That is expected to happen on Wednesday afternoon. Reporting live in Southeast tonight, I'm Mariel Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, now the latest on the missing mother from Manassas Park, Virginia. Her husband will remain in custody. Naresh Bhatt is facing a charge of concealing a body in connection with his wife's disappearance. Prosecutors say they don't know where Mamta Coughley is. The 28-year-old has not been seen for nearly a month now, but they say the amount of blood investigators detected in their home leads them to believe the injuries were not survivable. They also say the husband physically abused his wife and made Google searches about what happens after a spouse dies. Those searches, prosecutors say, were made back in April, and they shocked those in the courtroom today.
Was astonished. I think it goes to show perhaps premeditation. Again, we are not the judge or the jury, but it does sound like there's indication of premeditation.
Well, outside their home today, a memorial flowers grows for Mamta. Prosecutors also revealing new allegations of domestic violence, saying Naresh had abused his wife. They say she tried to reach out for help in the months leading up to her disappearance.
9:04 on this Monday night, and TikTok star Keith Lee continues his food tour through the DMV, and this time making a stop over at Jerk at Night in Northeast DC. He's yet to post his review, but the restaurant says that he was very generous and left a $2,000 tip, which they say they will be using to repair their H Street location, which was damaged in a recent fire. So
that is great to hear, isn't it?
It is, that he's going and spreading a lot of noise and getting people to come to some local businesses.
Power of social media, right?
A lot of smiles, right? I mean, people are super thankful, and it's not going to be the best nights for the next couple of nights to be sitting outside, but hopefully you can still get to those restaurants and enjoy everything indoors, because the heat and the humidity is going to continue to rise. Live look right now, it is bearable outside. We're sitting under partly cloudy conditions, done with any storms that we dealt with earlier today. It's a nice 81, but there's a limited wind flow, and that's why we have air quality concerns, folks, going into tomorrow as well. We'll talk more about that in the extended forecast, but temperatures as a whole down towards Fairfax County 82, hey Baltimore 73, out towards Washington County as well. We're into the upper 70s, and so we will continue to really watch the dew points across the entire region. 60s and 70s. If you're not familiar with all that moisture in the atmosphere, that makes things uncomfortable. So satellite composite radar is drying out at this time. Kiddos, hopefully you had a wonderful first day of school. Welcome back, right? As we kick off the bus stop tomorrow, we'll sit under increasing clouds, and then for that evening commute, look how temperatures, they start to get pretty toasty across the region. We're back into the 90s. We do hit 100 degrees. I'll show you when coming up.
All right, Janessa. Meanwhile, all new tonight, a popular park in the Del Rey neighborhood of Alexandria now closed until further notice. It's all because Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance lives there.
Is live there at Judy Park. And Daniel, what are neighbors telling you about having access and not having access to that area now?
Susan and Chris, they have mixed reactions to these concrete barriers going up around the park and the Secret Service presence that all started yesterday. Some people telling me they understand the need for protection, while others say they believe it's an unnecessary nuisance. Judy Low Neighborhood Park is closed.
It's sort of the gathering place of the community, and it's the only park for the kids around here. So we already really miss it.
It's to protect Republican Senator J.D. Vance and his family as he runs for vice president.
I think it's kind of overkill.
I guess if he's going to live here, I'm happy people are being protected.
But it's still a bummer for those who frequently use the park.
It's unfortunate for our kids because my daughter, we live 5 streets down, and she eats lunch at this park a lot when she's out and about. But, you know, it's good they're keeping things safe.
On Saturday, neighbors had a farewell party for the park.
It was decorated. It was beautiful.
East Del Rey Avenue between Commonwealth and Clyde Avenues is restricted to resident traffic only. We talked with one woman off camera who was upset with Secret Service for not letting her walk through the street to get to her yoga class.
It's a very liberal neighborhood as far as I know. We've lived here for 5 years, but, you know, everyone's entitled to live. It's a great place to live, and everyone's entitled to live where they want to live.
The neighborhood dotted with signs like Cats for Kamala and this one that just says nope.
And I hope that once November comes, we can, either way it goes, this will all be back to normal.
So this area is going to be barricaded and monitored by law enforcement 24/7. It's unclear for how long, but we imagine at least through November's election. We're live in Alexandria. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
In Maryland, a Bethesda Chevy Chase high school student is charged with making bomb threats against 3 schools last spring. Investigators say the 15-year-old student coordinated with a 12-year-old to make those bomb threats. The calls were made over 2 days in May. The threats forced lockdowns at Bethesda Chevy Chase High, Walt Whitman High School, and Bethesda Elementary School. Investigators said the threats were not credible. Now, Maryland law prevents charges against that 12-year-old. The 15-year-old boy, though, was charged and released to his family.
Let's stay in Montgomery County, where a 15-year-old boy is charged with a double murder for a shooting over Memorial Day weekend. Police arrested Onyx Santana Austin at Dulles Airport today. Investigators say he left the country after that shooting back in May, and they arrested him as he was returning to the U.S. Austin faces murder charges and will be brought back to Montgomery County. The shooting at Nolte Park in Silver Spring killed DeAndrew Wint and Quincy Johnson.
The man accused of attacking Virginia Congressman Jerry Connolly staffers with a metal baseball bat last year has entered an insanity plea. Both prosecutors and the defense had agreed Xuan Ka Tran Pham was legally insane in May of 2023 during that attack. He'll be in custody of a psychiatric hospital in Virginia. He'll remain there for the foreseeable future.
DC firefighters at this fire in Northeast today, and you can see the smoke billowing out here. Crews say it started before 3 this afternoon in the basement of this business and worked its way up to the first floor. Crews there on Bladensburg Road say they had to use a whole variety of large water streams to get this fire under control.
Well, a big night for the Washington Nationals and this young guy here, their top draft pick from last year, Cruz, making his major league debut at home tonight against the Yankees. Cruz so far went 0 for 2. He flew out to right in the first inning, walked in the fourth, and struck out swinging in the sixth. Our sports director, Derek Flores, have much more on his performance coming up tonight at 10 on DCW 50.
Students in our region starting a new year, but for one high school lacrosse athlete, just getting back to school is his goal.
It really is. Gunnar Burns finally making it home to Frederickburg, Virginia last week. And an injury during a game sent him to an Atlanta hospital for weeks.
Max Marcilla joining us live right now with an update on Gunnar's recovery.
Yeah, so Max, how's he doing?
Well, it is a long road back for Gunnar, but he is working really, really hard, and he has no shortage of support as he works to come back from a vertebrae fracture. Now, he had surgeries in Richmond, then went to an Atlanta facility for a brief stint for adolescents recovering from a spine injury. He is finally home and literally being cheered on by his friends and his teammates. It was a quick but a positive welcome home for Gunnar Burns last Wednesday, friends holding signs and cheering him on as his car drove past this Fredericksburg street. It came 3 months to the day his life changed. The lacrosse long stick midi was playing the ball when he collided with an opponent during a playoff game. He fell to the ground, unable to move.
Injuries don't happen like that very often, but when they do, it hurts everyone.
We were both on the field and watched it happen right in front of us.
Lowell Bertolette and Jeb Brooke, two of Gunnar's teammates who have known him since the 5th grade, told us it's been hard seeing their friend go through this.
Just seeing him in a bed and just the state we hadn't seen him in. He's usually very lively and just active and loves to talk.
But they are hopeful a return to his hometown is a treatment no doctor can prescribe. Gunnar's dad, James, also believes it will help.
I think that there is nothing better than having friends nearby.
But now that he's home, we can go see him, just help him chug along and get back to close to the way he was before. I know it's never going to be the same, but hopefully we can get him there as close as possible.
For now, it's more therapies with a goal in mind for the school year.
He's looking forward to it, to go back and graduate with his class this year.
Now, Gunnar's dad told us that the entire Fredericksburg community has been so helpful and supportive, including 2 local companies that helped renovate their home to make it wheelchair accessible. Live in the studio, Max Marcilla, DC News Now. Back to you.